Hey guys, Scott back here again with a new beer. Actually, it's not a beer dissection video. It's a new beer face-off video that I have for you today. I've got two classics. Usually with the beer face-offs, I try to keep it to some pretty popular beers, or at least, very close to style type of beers. I try to keep it not as so much apples and oranges. So what I have today for the beer face-off is a classic from Cigar City, Alai. Okay, should be uncommon. I have them in larger cans today because I guess I just didn't want to be buying like 6-pack after 6-pack of all these beers. So these kind of come in pretty convenient. They're about a beer and a half, I guess, each. And then versus the Voodoo Imperial IPA. Okay, so both of these highlight, to be a Imperial IPA, you have to be kind of a double IPA. It's kind of synonymous. And you're usually going to be somewhere up around 7.5 to as much as 10% ABV percentage. Highlight is about 7.5, so they're probably on that lower limit of it, but it is a double IPA. It's coming in at 65 IBUs. I have done a standalone video with Highlight back a few months ago. So if you are interested in just, isolating this beer, which is a classic, take a look under my beer dissection video. The New Belgium, okay, which I believe has been bought out by Lion Beverage in Australia as via Kirin from Japan. This one's coming in at 9% alcohol. It's also actually labeled an Imperial IPA. This is another one that I've kind of done a standalone video from one of the New Belgium packs. They usually have a compilation pack. So if you are interested in just solely standalone videos on either one of these, take a look at my beer dissection video. Today, obviously, I'll be highlighting it, but I just want to kind of compare the two because these are two pretty common beers. Cigar City's also was bought out by Big Beer, very easily available. They're probably all over the country. They probably have a big footprint. So that's why I wanted to pit these two against each other today. And I think that was all I really wanted to discuss before we kind of get right into this beer face-off. And this is just all my subjective opinions on things. Obviously I've been a student of beer for a very long time, and so I usually add some tidbits in here, but both of these, this has the Voodoo Ranger has a best by, or actually, excuse me, best consumed by July 23. I'm sitting here in May of 23 right now, and this one was actually has a can date of January. So both of these are pretty close in freshness. Okay, so let's crack these open. I just got my typical glasses. Okay, and I'm going to probably open both at the same time, and we will compare. Okay, so I'm going to put the New Belgium in my Greenport brewery, and I'm probably going to have pictures popping up over my head like I usually do on my videos, kind of showing you both beers side by side. Okay, so I'm getting whiff of, these are kind of hot bombs right now, just looking at it. Good. All right, so this is the Voodoo Ranger. Okay, so first thing, let's take a look at the head. The head, several inches of a light tan to white head, pretty tight bubbles there. Voodoo Ranger, pretty crystal clear, kind of a dark straw, maybe a light, to medium gold color, perfectly clear, no chill haze at all. Okay. Now versus, this is the Cigar City. Okay, you can see it's a little bit darker in color. Okay, it's kind of a medium gold to slightly true high gold kind of color. Pretty clear though also. There's a subtle bit more chill haze here. I don't know if you're catching it on camera. But again, very, good looking, clear beer. These are not, even though you can get a hazy component to these beers because they are using a lot of hops with the polyphenols. I don't know the grists on these, but I'm presuming they're probably not using oats and unmalted wheat a lot of times that New England IPAs will use. Okay, so let's go back to the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Again, pretty clear here. Let's take a sniff of the aroma. Okay, I was expecting a little bit more, oomph to this. This has kind of got a kind of a candied mango, some tropical fruit in here. Get maybe a slight citrus, and again with the tropical fruit, maybe even some pineapple, mango. But I'm really not that impressed with the aroma on this. So I was actually expecting a lot more from that. Kind of typical, kind of white bread, wheat bread kind of malt aroma, maybe a little bit of bread crusty, but that's about it. But pretty underwhelming with the aroma from the hops for something that's an Imperial IPA. Because these are such high alcoholic percentage, there's usually heavily hopped with bitterness to try to offset the perceived sweetness and bitterness from either one. So let's take a sniff of the Alai. Okay, so this one's definitely got more hop aroma than the New Belgium. This one I'm getting a little bit more like kind of orange, candied mandarin, orange peel kind of aroma. So obviously citrus, not really any grapefruit that I'm perceiving. More orange, but definitely more pronounced than the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Again, remember both of these, even though I'm saying double IPA, Imperial IPA, it's synonymous. We kind of sit anywhere upwards of 7.5 to 10% alcohol. We're kind of sitting in Imperial double IPA range. Okay, so again, this is the Cigar City. Okay, and I'll have a picture, I'm sure, over my shoulder, and then you can see the difference. This is more, I could even probably argue that the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger here, Imperial, is more straw color than, definitely not amber. But I'll probably slam my fist down and just say kind of a medium gold color, very clear, versus the Alai, which definitely has kind of a darker gold to maybe even a light amber kind of color to it. But the Alai is definitely giving me more on the nose as far as hop aroma. And again, more orange-like. The New Belgium, again, I get almost, now that I smell it, compared right with the Cigar City, kind of a medicinal. And again, not much on the hops. I mean, kind of this candied, I don't know, candied grape kind of thing, but definitely not getting that bold citrus, maybe a little tropical fruit here on this one, but again, really not. I think I actually smell more of the glass than the actual hops from this beer. Okay, so let's take a swig of the Voodoo Ranger New Belgium. Okay, so again, what I'm going to taste first is the Imperial IPA from New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. Okay. Oh. Again, similar to the aroma, and this is not a very old can. This actually tastes a little different than last time I think I reviewed this. Low to moderate carbonation, bread crusty, slight white bread malt character, but even on the hop flavor, subtle tropical fruit, but I'm getting on this one being around 9%, a little bit of a bite with the alcoholic warmth, and there's something definitely kind of astringent to it. But very underwhelming also on the flavor of the hops. So again, kind of a candied grape, mango-ish, but again, very, very subdued on the hop flavor as well as on the nose. Okay. Again, I feel like I'm getting more glass aroma than the actual Voodoo Ranger here. Okay, so Let's taste the High Life. Okay, so the High Life again, a little more orange. I had a little bit more orange on the nose with the aroma. Okay, so I've had this beer but many times in the past. All right, this one has a little bit more carbonation to it. I poured them basically at the same time. Doesn't have a carbonic bite. It is actually, but it is kind of medium to full bodied. But again, on the taste buds, you kind of get a little bit of that candied orange peel, clementine, a little pithy. So there is a slight bit of astringency, but definitely more hop flavor than the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. So citrus. Both of these I didn't mention. Definitely both have a pronounced to assertive bitterness to it, especially the High Life. But again, as you can see with the High Life, Cigar City's High Life, not only is the color a little bit more darker gold, you're getting more citrus on the aroma from the hops. You're also getting a little bit more citrus, orange peel, candied orange peel on the flavor. Which again is kind of blowing the Voodoo Ranger away right now. I'm going to pour a little bit more of the Voodoo Ranger so I can maybe get the hops stirred up a little bit. Again, going back to the Voodoo Ranger, you can see we're looking pretty clear, and this is kind of a dark straw, maybe a light gold color versus, again, our Cigar City High Life. So let me give another chance here to this Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Again, very kind of danky. I don't want to say dishwater. I mean, you're not going to stick your nose out and dump this down the drain. Just very underwhelming on the aroma. You get kind of, again, that maybe a little tropical fruit, a slight mango pineapple, but I think that's even a little bit of a reach. It's very subtle. I'm really got to take some long sniffs to get that. So again, very underwhelming on the aroma. Let's take another swig of the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA, the lighter colored one. Again, it's definitely a hot beer. You kind of get that astringency from the alcohol. Again, this is at 9%. I get more, I guess, a little bit more malt with the bread. Maybe a little bit of crusty toast malt profile, but again, the hops are kind of underwhelming here. I got to search or dig deep. I got a slight tropical fruit. Maybe there's a little citrus there with grapefruit. But again, there's that alcoholic warmth, and with the bitterness and the bite, it's just a little bit harsh drinking. Okay. I may even be more critical of this today than I did when I first reviewed it when it was just in a 12-ounce can a few months ago. And I'm going to kind of go back to the Cigar City here. Again, you still get a nice, pleasant orange citrus, mandarin kind of peel, clementine. Again, there's definitely a lot more orange citrus. You still get that bread crust or biscuit top kind of on the on the malt profile a little bit here. Listen, both beers, I mean, before I kind of give my decision here, both beers are reasonable. The Voodoo Ranger, though, is, if I had many more of these, I wouldn't be too happy about it. It's just very underwhelming with the hop aroma and flavor. And even when I am, picking it up, it's very, very subtle. I mean, it's not, and with the heat of the alcohol and being such full-bodied, it's actually a little harsh drinking it versus the, High Life. okay, which is orange. So anyway, guys, you know, I'm going to definitely on this beer face-off, you know, with these two Imperial or double IPAs, the highlight coming in about 7.5%. The Voodoo Ranger here is coming around 9%. I definitely have to give it to the highlight, Cigar City. So if I was in a store and I saw both of these on the shelf, I definitely would grab the Cigar City. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised for me deciding that because I've had highlight before, and I actually think it's one of the better commercially produced IPAs that you can get very easily at most stores, even grocery stores. Kind of give the highlight, you know, kind of a B+, A- drinking it today. The Voodoo Ranger, I gotta say, it's like kind of a C- at the very best. Actually, I was quite disappointed. I thought the highlight may have won, but I thought the Voodoo Ranger, being an Imperial IPA, I was gonna get a lot more on the hop aroma and flavor. Okay, guys. So today's beer face-off. Last time, I have it probably up there. Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA versus the classic Highlight Indie IPA. Again, some tropical fruit, stringency, alcoholic warmth on the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Cigar City definitely landed it more with some citrus, orange notes that weren't very hard to find. And didn't have that alcoholic warmth. It's just a little bit smoother, even though both are medium to full-bodied because of the residual sugars and the alcoholic strength. Just the highlight, just kind of, you know, kind of deal with it a little bit easier. All right. So anyway, highlight's the winner, Cigar City versus the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. All right, guys. Hopefully that's helpful if you happen to be out shopping. Till the next beer video. Have a great day, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.